Alright guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at two clones for Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mall, that is Afnan's 9 p.m. and Lattafa Ramz Silver. So right off the bat, both of these clones are really good and they are both worth getting, but there are subtle differences in between the two fragrances, and today we're going to take a look at what those are. So I'm sure that most people are familiar with Ultra Mall by now, since it's been out a while. To me, the prominent notes for Ultra Mall are pear, lavender, mint, and vanilla. It also has a little bit of a aromatic and fresh quality to it. So first we'll start with Afnan's 9 p.m. This one is the most hyped and most popular of these two fragrances. And when people think of an Ultra Mall clone, this is the one that probably comes to mind the most. So you can see the bottle here, and I really like this bottle. The presentation is pretty nice. It's a very heavy glass bottle, and the presentation on this is certainly much better, in my opinion, than the Lattafa version. So 9 p.m. opens up very fresh, very sweet, and very fruity. It has a really sweet apple and bergamot opening with just a little bit of that clean lavender note underneath it. So when you first spray this on, you can definitely tell that this is an Ultra Mall clone. So for me, this comes off a little bit more sweet and fruity than the original does. So once it dries down, again, still very close to the original, not quite as aromatic, and it kind of has that tonka bean powdery sweetness along with the regular vanilla like Ultra Mall does. Overall, this is a very good clone of Ultra Mall. It comes really close. Granted, there are subtle differences, but if you're not wanting to spend full retail price for Ultra Mall, this is definitely a solid choice. So one of the biggest differences in the opening is Ultra Mall has that slightly minty, very sweet pear note, while 9 p.m. is more of a very sweet, fruity apple note. So Ramz Silver by Lattafa opens up a little bit different. It still has that classic pear note that the original has, along with some mint and bergamot. To me, it comes off a little more aromatic and fresh, not quite as syrupy sweet as the Afnan. There's also a little bit of a woody note that is in this one that I don't get in the other two. Still has that fruity sweetness with mint and that aromatic lavender underneath it. And after about 15 or 20 seconds, once I spray it on, then definitely can tell that this is an Ultra Mall clone. So another difference that I get out of the Lattafa version is that woody note becomes a little bit more prominent in the mid. So I don't detect that in the air, but if I put my nose to skin, I get a very distinct pencil shavings or a cedarwood note out of this that I just do not get at all in the other two fragrances. But once that pencil shaving scent goes away, and it does after 10 or 15 minutes, then what I smell is a fragrance that's very close in the dry down to the original Ultra Mall. Again, just like Afnan's 9 p.m., this is also a really close version of Ultra Mall. Granted, it's slightly different. It has distinct notes that you can smell that you don't smell in the original and you don't smell in Afnan 9 p.m. So to me, there are two main things to consider when you're looking at both of these fragrances, and that is performance and that is price. So we're going to dive into both of these. So first off, the price difference. Afnan 9 p.m. is around $28 to $29, and Lattafa Ramz Silver is around $16 to $18. Now, you may have to shop around to find these prices, because I've seen Afnan 9 p.m. for $60-something, and I've seen Lattafa Ramz Silver for the mid-20s. But either way, Afnan 9 p.m. is more expensive than Ramz Silver. As far as performance goes, I get around 6 to 8 hours out of 9 p.m. and the projection on it is really good for the first couple of hours. So as far as performance versus the price point, really nothing to complain about from my end in that regards. As far as longevity for Ramz Silver, I get around 6 hours of longevity out of this, and projection is moderate as well. So for me, I get a little bit better longevity and projection out of 9 p.m. than I do Ramz Silver. Having said that, You should also consider that the Lattafa version is around $16. So as far as performance for a $16 fragrance, this stuff blows it out of the water. As far as my personal opinion on both of these fragrances, to me they are both worth purchasing, but I really love Afnan's 9pm because it's a little bit more sweet and a little bit more vanilla forward, and it's a little bit less aromatic than Ultramall. So 9pm is something that I would personally choose to wear over Ultramall. Not saying that Ultramall is a bad fragrance. I think it's a great fragrance. Just that my personal tastes are for Afnan's 9pm. So as far as Lattafa Ramz Silver, it's really hard to say no to this fragrance or to not be able to recommend it, because I think I paid about $16 and some odd cents for it from Fragrance Buy, and getting 6+ hours of longevity out of this, and it comes really close to Ultramall. Again, this is a solid pickup in my opinion. So how these fragrances are different to me is, I would explain it like this. The Lattafa version is a little bit more fresh and aromatic. It has a little bit more of that minty quality to it, and it also has a little bit of a woodiness to it, but it dries down very similar to Ultramall. 9pm to me is a little bit more sweet and fruity, and the vanilla comes off a little bit stronger than the other two fragrances. To me, you really can't go wrong with either one of these. They're both solid choices. Hey guys, if you stuck around this long, please do me a favor of hitting that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow.